Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. Today we take up the subject, Human Unity. The Mother. Our ordinary consciousness is very much mixed up with unconsciousness, fumbles, strains, and is thwarted. While by unity with the Supreme, you share the Supreme nature and get the full knowledge whenever you turn to observe any object and identify yourself with it. Of course, this does not necessarily amount to embracing all the contents of the divine consciousness. Your movements become true, but you do not possess all the manifold riches of the divine's activity. Still, within your sphere, you are able to see correctly and according to the truth of things, which is certainly more than what is called, in yogic parlance, knowledge by identity. Indeed, there are many means of attaining this unity. It may be done through aspiration, or surrender, or some other method, each followed with persistence and sincerity leads to it. Aspiration is the dynamic push of your whole nature behind the resolution to reach the divine. Surrender, on the other hand, may be defined as the giving up of the limits of your ego. To surrender to the divine is to renounce your narrow limits and let yourself be invaded by it and made a center for its play. But you must bear in mind that the universal consciousness, so beloved of yogis, is not the divine. You can break your limits horizontally if you like, but you will be quite mistaken if you take the sense of wideness and cosmic multiplicity to be the divine. The universal movement is, after all, a mixture of falsehood and truth. So that to stop there is to be imperfect. For you may very well share the cosmic consciousness without ever attaining the transcendent truth. On the other hand, to go to the divine is also to attain the universal realization, and yet remain free of falsehood. This is a message from Mother to America. Message to America. Stop thinking that you are of the West and others of the East. All human beings are of the same divine origin and meant to manifest upon earth the unity of this origin. It is only by the growth and establishment of the consciousness of human unity that a true and lasting peace can be achieved upon earth. And in 1955, Mother writes, "Shake off all narrowness, selfishness, limitations, and wake up to the consciousness of human unity. This is the only way to achieve peace and harmony." The world is a unity. It has always been. And it is always so. Even now it is so. It is not that it has not got the unity, and the unity has to be brought in from outside and imposed upon it. Only the world is not conscious of its unity. It has to be made conscious. We consider now is the time most propitious for the endeavor, for a new force, or consciousness, or light, whatever you call the new element, has manifested into the world. And the world has now the capacity to become conscious of its own unity. 25 March 1960. Unity does not come from any exterior disposition, but by coming conscious of the eternal oneness. 12 August 1964. This is in reference to World Union. I have no objection to World Union, yourself and X joining the demonstration. I simply refused the participation of our students because I do not believe in the usefulness of words spoken or written when the world's problems are concerned. I insist on the fact that an inner effort to acquire oneself the consciousness of unity and the consequent transformation of one's action is infinitely more effective than speeches and articles. January 1965. The ideal of human unity, Sri Aurobindo. The turn towards unity, its necessity and dangers. Today, the ideal of human unity is more or less vaguely making its way to the front of our consciousness. The emergence of an ideal in human thought is always the sign of an intention in nature, but not always of an intention to accomplish. Sometimes it indicates only an attempt, which is predestined to temporary failure. For nature is slow and patient in her methods. She takes up ideas and half carries them out, then drops them by the wayside to resume them in some future era with a better combination. She tempts humanity, her thinking instrument, and tests how far it is ready for the harmony she has imagined. She allows and incites man to attempt and fail, so that he may learn and succeed better another time. Still, the ideal, having once made its way to the front of thought, must certainly be attempted. And this ideal of human unity is likely to figure largely among the determining forces of the future. For the intellectual and material circumstances of the age have prepared and almost impose it, especially the scientific discoveries which have made our earth so small that its vastest kingdoms seem now no more than the provinces of a single country. Now, it is not by social and political devices, or at any rate not by these chiefly or only, that the unity of the human race can be enduringly or fruitfully accomplished. Yet, the unity of mankind is evidently a part of nature's eventual scheme and must come about. Only it must be under other conditions and with safeguards which will keep the race intact in the roots of its vitality, richly diverse in the oneness. I close with Sri Aurobindo's words. We consider the possibilities of a unification of the human race on political, administrative, and economic lines. We see that a certain sort of unity, or a first step towards it, appears not only to be possible, but to be more or less urgently demanded by an underlying spirit and sense of need in the race. This spirit has been created largely by increased mutual knowledge and close communication, partly by the development of wider and freer intellectual ideals and emotional sympathies in the progressive mind of the race. Please read this book, The Ideal of Human Unity.